Hi guys and welcome to the Pet Quarter. In this video we are going to cover what the best food for a cockapoo is. Now, disclaimer alert, Cockapoos are one of my favorite breeds. They are absolutely adorable. I love pretty much everything about the breed. You have a mixture of something quite beautiful, something working, and something extremely intelligent, which is something very rare. In recent times, Cockapoos have become extremely prevalent because of the very nature of the breed. They are, as I said, adorable, their eyes are incredible, and a lot of people treat them like babies. Now, don't get fooled, they are not babies. I mean, they are, but they are not. You will have to temper your emotions, and you will have to, at times, be stricter than you want to be. But irrespective of that, in this video we are going to cover what the best food for your cockapoo is. Now, in the pet food industry, let me tell you something that really does matter, and that is ingredients. Irrespective of what any manufacturer tells you on the front of the packet, whether it says specially tailored for cockapoos or working dogs, say grain-free, say organic, say whatever they want to say, you must be able to turn that bag of food over. There are a few ingredients that I do not like and we do not recommend for cockapoos or for any dog whatsoever. What are those? Those are inflammatory ingredients, just like rice, say barley, say corn, say soy, say too much white potato. We don't like meat and animal derivatives, we don't like meat meals, and we don't like sugar in pet food. And yes, before you ask, yes, a lot of manufacturers put sugar or dextrose in the food to make it more enticing, to make it more appetizing for dogs. Now, we do not think that putting dextrose or sugar in pet food is a good choice. So, biologically, there isn't inherently different between a cockapoo, a German Shepherd, or a poodle in terms of what they should be eating. They should be eating roughly the same unless they have any sort of health condition. Dogs don't have something called amylase, which is an enzyme that breaks down starches in the mouth. So the fewer carbohydrates you feed the dog, the better the oral and dental health of your dog. So if we stay away from carbohydrates, if we stay away from high glycemic carbohydrates, we will ensure that our dog is happy and lovely and lives a very healthy life. So without further ado, we are going to cover the different foods we can give our dog. In terms of kibble, we want to look for a high protein, low carbohydrate, low glycemic carbohydrate food. What does that mean? That means a food that contains no rice, no pea starch, no corn, no soy, no barley, and none of these meat and animal derivatives, and none of these inflammatory ingredients like brewer's rice, for example. Again, irrespective of what manufacturers say on the front, look on the bag. We want to see things like dehydrated lamb, freshly prepared free-range chicken, we want to see raw beef, we want to see organic apples, we want to see things like butternut squash, which is a lower glycemic carbohydrate than say rice or corn or soy. Those things really matter. Ingredients really do matter. Try to aim for a crude protein that is as high as possible. And the reason why we want the protein to be as high as possible is for something I will explain further down in the video, so stay until then to find out. So a high quality kibble can be very beneficial for your dog. Now, how about wet food? Should you mix wet and kibble, or should you just feed wet food? If you go for a wet food, try for that wet food to be as high quality as possible. Again, we do not want to see any cereals, we do not want to see any whole grains, any meat and animal derivatives, we do not want to see any sugar, we do not want to see any dextrose. A lot of wet food manufacturers will put something like rice, but try for this rice amount to be as close to 4% as possible. Why? If you feed your dog a food with say 20 or 40% rice, rice expands when you cook it, so it is likely that you will be feeding your dog more rice than you want them to. And believe you me, dogs have a hard time digesting carbohydrates. Why? Because of their inherent nature. They struggle breaking down carbohydrates, and they actually make their own blood sugar from protein and fat in a process called gluconeogenesis. So trust me, the fewer carbohydrates you feed the dog, the better. If you are going to mix the wet and the kibble, make sure your dog doesn't develop any pickiness. And this is something I am going to cover later on. In terms of raw food, we can give our dog good quality raw food. We can either go for a food with vegetables, say 15 to 20% veggies, or we can opt for an 80-10-10 pure without veggies. One is not better than the other. There are people on different camps getting extremely good results. So as long as the raw food is of good quality, you do the research, they specifically tell you where the ingredients are sourced from, how the food is handled, make sure they adhere to rules and regulations, and make sure everything is tickety-boo so we don't fall into arms of the cowboys. Now, the prevalence of raw food manufacturers these days means that a lot of bad actors will turn up, set up a brand of raw food, not label it, not do things properly, and just sell you things that aren't good. Sell things that, yes, they are raw, but their provenance is horrible, and we do not like that. We want everything that goes into our dogs to be as high quality as possible. So you can go for a food with vegetables, or you can go for an 80-10-10, where 80% is lean meat, 10% is offal, give or take, of which 5% is liver and 10% is bone, because yes, bone is part of your dog's diet. Now, there are other categories of food, like treats, like freeze-dried food, for example. But these are extremely expensive, and even though they are very good quality, the inherent nature of how the food is manufactured and how the food is made means that not many people feed freeze-dried food, so we are not really going to cover that here. But again, as with anything, make sure the ingredients in the food are of good quality. Ingredients matter more than anything else, I can tell you. Now, you will be wondering, why is this guy harping on so much on nutrition for my Cockapoo? I'm just gonna give my Cockapoo whatever I want, and my Cockapoo or my older dog, or I have been told to give my dog this, and this food contains rice, and I'm just gonna give my dog whatever I want. The reason why I harp on nutrition so much, especially with Cockapoos, is because they are not a purebred breed, as it were. It is a breed of dog. Yes, they are lovely and I absolutely love them. However, whenever you tailor breed a dog to look a specific way, you deviate from lines, you deviate from breed lines, and that causes an inherent bout of health issues, such as, for example, Cockapoos are very prone to pruritus, dermatitis. They are extremely prone, I must say, to allergies, to seasonal allergies, to nutrition allergies. All these allergies are built into the breed. Why are they built into the breed? Because again, it's not a purebred dog. When you want a specific look for a dog, that means that you have to compromise somewhere, or that somewhere down the line, someone has compromised with your dog's pedigree, with one of the breeds. And that means that some breeds, such as Cockapoos, are more prone to having health issues and nutrition issues. So, always make sure you feed your dog low glycemic carbohydrates. Always make sure the ingredients of everything you give the dog is of high quality. Always make sure that you read the ingredients. Make sure you stay away from meat and animal derivatives. I cannot emphasize this enough, especially if you have a Cockapoo. If you deviate from this, And if you feed your dog whatever you want or whatever someone has recommended without you doing your own research, you will fall into expensive vet bills, expensive vet visits, and the dog, bless them, is not going to live their best life. And it can be solved by just you doing some research and you making sure that there's nothing nasty going into the food. And again, just to ensure your dog doesn't get too picky, always make sure you are one step ahead of your dog. What does this mean? The poodle in them will test you. They will really test you. If you give them treats, if you give them any extra supplements or any extra table scraps, they would hold out for those treats and they will choose those treats or those table scraps instead of their food. And believe you me, that will drive you crazy and you will have to change food and you will come back here telling me that your dog is too fussy and your dog does not want to eat. The dog does want to eat, but the dog is a very intelligent breed. So always make sure the food is time limited. If the dog is extra picky or extra fussy, make sure you do not give the dog anything else apart from their food. Eventually, in 2, 3, 4, 5 days, if the dog is okay and the dog is well hydrated, be humane about it, the dog will eat, the dog will have to eat. Dogs aren't designed to starve, so do not feel sorry for them. Do not feel bad and start giving the dog something else. If you provide good quality food, irrespective of dry, wet, raw, or whatever you give the dog will eat. The dog has to eat. Dogs aren't biologically designed to starve. Trust me. And I know it's hard, and I want you to have the conversation, if needs be, with their family. If your family is feeding the dog as well, always make sure there is some sort of coherent plan around the dog. And guess what? Your dog will be very happy. Ingredients do matter. Low glycemic carbohydrates really do matter. Always read the small print on the ingredients, and for a selection of phenomenal foods, you can visit thepetquarter.co.uk. We could sell all sorts of things. We could tell you that all sorts of things are great, but we are self-funded and we strongly believe that your dog would be a lot better on our food than on some other commercial thing that we could also be telling you it's great. We do not think, for example, that prescription diets are as good as our brands. We do not think that most brands of food you can find in big retailers are as good as the ones we sell. Why? Only have to look at the quality of the food we are presenting. We only sell good food out of principle. We could sell all sorts of things, but we don't. What is the best food for a cockapoo? Ingredients do matter. Be strict with the dog and your dog will be happy. Any questions, let me know and I will see you in the next one. By the way, if you have a picture of your cockapoo or you have a story about your cockapoo, please leave it down in the comments. I cannot wait to read.